All right, there we go.
All right. So, no pressure from Candace here. I do not monitor the chat while I talk. I can't do
I'm
two
on
things
it.
at once. So Candace will monitor the chat. If you have questions that you want to share in there along the way, they might be easy questions that she can answer, or she'll compile them all to ask when we conclude here. Um, but I'm excited that you guys are all so interested in learning more about PMA's awards programs. There's a lot to it. I have a very lengthy slide deck, and I told Candace she can do like the hook and like pull me off stage if I start going too long. But let's jump into it. First up, we'll look at PMA's EPIC Awards. So each year, PMA's president appoints a committee that administers the EPIC Awards. So really from like groundbreaking advancements to visionary strategies and community service, our EPIC Awards celebrate those who excel within the property management industry and beyond. Now, for you guys, it's important to know that PMA associate members may make nominations for the EPIC Awards, and they are also eligible to receive EPIC Awards. So you can make nominations and you can receive EPIC Awards. So let's talk about what our EPIC Awards are. There's four of them. There's the Capital Achievement Award, and that's our highest honor. It is intended to recognize an individual or a company that has made an outstanding advancement in the multifamily industry. So let's say it's your 75th anniversary and you want to celebrate your company. Maybe you could nominate them for a Capital Achievement Award. We do require that there's a nomination from a PMA member for all of these awards. The next EPIC Award is our Visionary Award, and that's presented to a member who demonstrates forward-thinking insight, creativity, and has the ability to create and implement a strategy. And again, they must have a nomination from a PMA member. The next EPIC award is the Making a Difference Award, and that's presented to a member who participates in community service and who is making a significant contribution to the community with their time, talents, and actions. Again, must have a nomination from PMA member. The community service does not all have to be within the property management industry. This may be somebody who's volunteering both professionally and personally. And then last but not least, and perhaps our least understood award, the Memorial Scholarship Award. The Memorial Scholarship is a monetary award to further the education of a child or grandchild of a PMA member. Applicants should be well-rounded students involved in extracurricular and civic activities, and they have to submit their own nomination. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. So when I say it's eligible to the child or a grandchild of a PMA member, that means, let's say Mika has an electrician on her team at Hawkins, his child or grandchild would be eligible for that scholarship. So it's really anybody within the member company can have their child or grandchild apply for that award. In terms of timeline, the nomination form is available now and it will be open through August. Nominations are due by the end of August. We have the EPIC Awards Committee consider the nominations in the fall. They consider them in September. And then we notify the winners in October and we announce them to the membership in October. But the real celebration occurs at our fourth annual awards ceremony, which is taking place on Thursday, November 7th, and it's taking place at MGM National Harbor Hotel and Casino. And this is the event where we will announce all of the programs that we're discussing this morning, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about the ceremony in just a minute. So let's just talk a little bit about the EPIC nomination process. It's all online and it's fairly straightforward. You provide your information as well as the nominee's information. There is no nomination fee. And then the details that you're providing depend upon the award for which you're submitting a nomination. So for the Capital Achievement, Visionary, and Making a Difference Award, for all three of those, you're telling us how the nominee demonstrates ethical behavior. But then there's unique nuances for each one of the categories. Again, this is a digital form. It's not intended to be a novel about your applicant, a few sentences or a paragraph or so explaining how they meet the award criteria and why they are worthy of the award will suffice. And then for the Memorial Scholarship Award, that nomination should be submitted by the student themselves. They'll provide information about their high school and about their continuing education. They'll also provide their transcripts, a letter of recommendation, and a 500-word essay addressing the topic, why I should be considered for the PMA Memorial Scholarship. So that is, let me see your beautiful faces. Oh, I can't make you bigger. Um, that is the summary of the EPIC Awards. Are there any questions specifically about EPIC before we move into our next award program?
We do have a question here. For the
Awesome.
Memorial Scholarship, can it be used for an employee who wants to further their education?
At this time, it is not available to employees who want to further their education. It's intended for the grandchild or child. We have had other requests. We've heard about employees, and we've also heard perhaps nieces and nephews is something that we can consider. Both are on the table to look at in future years. Another note, though, this doesn't necessarily have to be applied toward college. Any sort of continuing education beyond high school is eligible. So if you have somebody who's participating in a specific program for a particular trade or something of that nature, those funds can go toward that.
How much is the scholarship? Is there only one scholarship offered winner?
Sure, there's typically one scholarship winner, and typically it's $3,000. The scholarship is funded from proceeds of PMA's Summer Escape. So another fun reason to participate in our Summer Escape. But really, we do make considerations and slight modifications based on the fiscal year. Any other EPIC questions? Okie dokie. Let's talk PACE. All right. So PACE, fun fact, PACE stands for PMA's Apartment Community Excellence Awards. The PACE Awards are intended to establish best practices and recognize excellence in the National Capital Region's apartment community industry. You'll see here the properties that are typically eligible to participate in PACE here on your screen. We have a northern border of Columbia, eastern border of Annapolis, southern border of Woodbridge, and then a western border of Frederick, Maryland. We do modify those borders, and in fact, this year we've already had some Eastern Shore properties express an interest as well as Baltimore properties. So it looks like we're going a little further east and north this year. And 2024 marks the 13th annual PACE Awards competition. The PACE Awards is administered by our PACE Awards Committee, which is led by Amy Earp with Beyond the Balloons Training and Consulting Services and Jenny Rucker with Live BE Communities. Now, the PACE Awards is unique for several reasons. The first being that judges provide extensive feedback that participants get to see at the conclusion of the program. We've also designed PACE to build teams by improving morale and boosting performance. We also provide our winners with tools that they can use PACE to drive prospective residents to their communities and as a tool to retain their existing residents. And lastly, PACE establishes benchmarks for excellence. There's only one winner per category. Okay, so I know if you go to the PACE Awards, it feels confusing. We're like throwing a lot of words around and you might not necessarily know what we are talking about. So in 2023, we received approximately 190 PACE entries from 28 different property management companies. And we broke those entries into 43 categories. And to break them into categories, and we're typically striving for 3 to 6 entries in each category, we take several factors into consideration. Our goal here is to make the competition as inclusive and as fair as possible. So first, we look at geography. So we have categories for DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Next, we look at the property's average rent, and that's information that the property is providing at the application process. Each property falls under one property type category. We have lease up communities, and those are communities that are 1 year old or less than 1 year old or that have not yet stabilized. We have senior communities, and those are communities for 55 and plus that are at least 75% senior, and that includes affordable market rate and mixed income communities that meet that senior qualification. Then we have what we call affordable communities, and those are the communities that are participating in government funding programs. where the rents are below market rate for at least 75% of the units. And then we have our tried and true market rate communities. So those are the communities that are assessing the prevailing monthly rental rate for at least 75% of their units. Like we've done since 2022, we are also this year looking at the property's age when we're categorizing. So properties constructed prior to 1990 are categorized as vintage. To determine the winners, we recruit a team of veterans of the property management industry, and every community is assessed by 2 judges. And like I said, the communities receive the judges' inspection reports at the conclusion of the program. The judges evaluate the properties in the 7 areas that appear on your screen now. And the PACE committee has worked hard to make the evaluation form as objective and specific as possible. And the score sheet is available to the participants in advance. So there's no surprises. Everybody knows what to expect when the judges come on site. The judges work from a 0 to 5-point scale where applicable, with 3 being a baseline, and scoring can go up and down from there. And so that the feedback is valuable for the participants, we ask our judges to provide a comment in the event that the community either doesn't meet the baseline or where they exceed the baseline. And then, of course, there's some questions that don't lend themselves to this 5-point scale, where they're either a yes or no question. So in that case, a yes is 3 points and a no is 0 points. And then in the event that something is not applicable to a community, the community isn't penalized for that. So say, for example, there's no pool, the points of, possible for a pool license are 0, points earned are 0. So it doesn't negatively impact their score. There can be bonus points. Judges can add bonus points to the total final score or subtract points for abject failures, and those are at the judge's discretion. So speaking of judges, we are currently recruiting judges. There are some qualifications to be a PACE judge. PACE judges should possess a minimum of 10 years in the multifamily industry. Ideal candidates are either presently in or have recently served in an executive role within a property management company. And then PACE judges are required to, my colleagues are having too much fun behind me. You hear them having fun? Judges are required to participate in a training session with the PMA team that we hold in person in May. And then here's the timeline for the PACE Awards. Entry fees are being accepted. I'm sorry, not entry. Well, entry fees are, but entry forms are being accepted now. They are due May 15th. I just yelled at him. Okay. So like I was saying, the PACE Awards timeline entries are being accepted now. They're due May 15th. There's 2 parts to the entry process, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But the final entry must be submitted by May 31st. And then evaluations take place June through September. Judging doesn't take place on Mondays or weekends or during the first 7 days of the month or on holidays. The evaluations are a surprise visit for the teams. PMA staff schedules a pair of judges to visit each community based on scheduling information that the property provides during the entry process. And again, the PACE winners, they remain a secret until they're announced at the association's annual awards ceremony. We encourage site teams that are participating in PACE or any of our other programs to plan to close their office for a professional development day, if you will, on November 7th. We want to make sure that the entire team is there to celebrate and enjoy the experience of the ceremony. When it comes to determining the winners, when all the community judging is complete, we tally all the score sheets, and the winners in each category are determined based on the percentage of total points earned versus the total possible points. And like I previously mentioned, there's only 1 winner per category. But there are some other ways that properties can be recognized. Property can be a distinguished community or win a Judge's Choice Award. So a distinguished community is a community that receives a score of at least 90 or higher in their category, but that isn't the winner in their category. And then a Judge's Choice Award is granted to communities that exhibit extraordinary qualities or something that really impresses a judge, but were not the overall winner in their categories. And then judges can only select one community to win their Judge's Choice Award. And then the best of the best is Best in Show. So at the award ceremony, we announce the winners in every category, and all of those winners are eligible to be named Best in Show. It's the most prestigious honor in PACE, and the community with the highest total points receives that special recognition. You'll see on the screen here, our 2023 Best in Show is the Elms at Signal Hill Station, managed by Legend Management. Now, I understand we've received a lot of questions about the PACE entry process. PACE entries are intended to be submitted by the property's manager. So the initial entry process is fairly quick and easy, but there is a bit of information necessary. And that includes the number of units and the rental rate for each unit type so that we can calculate the average rent. We also require information for scheduling the surprise evaluation as part of the entry process. And there is a fee associated with entering the PACE Awards as well, and that ranges from $250 to $610, depending on the entry type and membership status. And then part 2 of the entry form appears on your screen right now. There's several items that are required for the PACE evaluation, and the participants can either upload these materials on our PACE platform or they can present them to the judges on site. But as you can see, there's a good bit of information required for the application process and to prepare for the evaluation. Now, a lot of you said, oh, can I enter a property? And while it's certainly a thoughtful gesture, it's really not advisable given how in-depth the preparation and entry process is. If you're looking for a way to support PACE, I have a couple ideas. You can encourage your clients and your communities that you work with to enter. Tell them you think that what they're doing is outstanding, that they deserve to be recognized. Also, you can demonstrate your commitment to excellence within the industry by sponsoring the award ceremony. You could also consider inviting participants to be your guest at the award ceremony. Their entry fees don't cover their attendance at the award ceremony, so that would be a nice way if you wanted to financially support their participation. It would be much easier rather than paying for their entry fee to help them attend the award ceremony. Whew, let me pause here again. That was PACE. Any questions?
I had one question that actually came through direct, but you answered it at the end, which happened to be, can associate members purchase nominations for their clients? And I think you covered that.
Awesome. Anything else?
I have an idea, and it's probably not a good one. And it's a follow-up to what I can't see because I'm doing this on my phone about the funds.
Okay.
What if there was some sort of an associate membership pool, so to speak, where we can donate the money that we want to go to tickets for the participants who can't get their tickets that are nominated and or won.
So you're talking about creating a fund to help when property management professionals need financial support for, are you speaking of award entries, or you're speaking of ceremony attendance, or you're speaking of any PMA program?
No, not any PMA program. You guys get enough money. I'm talking about the PACE Awards, the winners. If they can't make it because they can't, like you said, they can't, it doesn't include their entry fee. So I'm sure on your end, you guys know which management companies pay for their attendees and which do not. You have all of that information. You don't need to. Don't.
I'm going to interrupt you because I already did. We actually, when companies participate in PACE, they know what they're in for financially. So we've never had a scenario where a PACE winner wasn't attending the award ceremony. We compile all the winners in advance. If we notice a winner isn't registered for the event, we do reach out with a friendly reminder that we'd like to see them at the event, trying not to reveal that they've won. But we've not encountered that issue. We can certainly stick a pin in that idea and revisit as necessary.
Okay, because I would hate to see that if someone was nominated or had a president's choice or judge's choice, or I don't know. I would just hate for them not to be able to be there due to financial reasons.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
where I'm coming from. And maybe, we can figure that out later. Put a
Yeah,
pin in it.
awesome. I'm sure Candace is keeping notes because she knows I can't do it. All right, so let's move on and talk about another program intended for site teams, and that is our Maintenance Professional Awards. So PMA's, Maintenance Professional Awards celebrate really the backbone of the property management industry and our operations, recognizing those whose performance stand out in terms of efficiency and productivity. This year marks the 12th annual Maintenance Awards program. This program is administered by our Facilities and Maintenance Management Committee, which is chaired by Hollis Pfeiffer with Horning and John Lyons with Catchmark Construction. Property management companies and individuals participating receive several benefits. It's a boost to morale, it improves teamwork. It really demonstrates when people enter their team members that they care about their efforts, they appreciate the efforts. It can be used as a tool to increase occupancies, both through marketing and improving performance. And then, of course, there's the industry recognition that the winners receive at our awards ceremony. So there are several PACE award, nope, we're not talking about PACE anymore. We're talking about maintenance. There are several maintenance professional award categories. We have our most valuable player that's intended to recognize any member of the team for going above and beyond in their job role. We also have grounds and janitorial team member of the year, service technician of the year, assistant service manager of the year, service manager of the year, and we break that down based on the number of employees that the person is supervising, and also whether they're doing a multi-site management or a single site. Then a new category we're introducing this year is a service director, who is responsible for a portfolio of properties, if you will. Then we have the engineer of the year and the service team of the year.
Yes.
So our nominees are evaluated on professionalism, organization skills, job performance, and communication skills.
I believe so.
And the judges for the Maintenance Awards program are volunteers. They're typically from the Facilities and Maintenance Council. Volunteers conduct in-person site visits and interviews with the nominees. And then the winners are determined based on scoring and some healthy debate that happens with the committee. For the Maintenance Professional Awards, the group tries to limit this to one winner per category, and from time to time, they award special recognition. The Maintenance Professional Awards timeline is similar to the PACE. We are accepting entries now, and they are due May 17th, and then we conduct evaluations June through September. I already told you this information, winners. So here's a slide. We determine winners, one per category, and then we do special recognition from time to time as well. In terms of this entry form, again, the maintenance entries are intended to be submitted by a property manager. The entry form requires the property manager's information as well as the nominee's information, which includes the number of people that they're supervising, the number of properties that they work on. We also request some information about the properties themselves, including the number of buildings, the number of units, and the year constructed. And then we ask for some additional information. We want to know about the nominee's current role and their history with the company and the property. We want to know how they've evolved through the years. We want examples of how they meet or exceed their job expectations. We really want them to highlight specific instances or projects that illustrate how they go above and beyond. We want to know how the nominee contributes to the profitability of their company or properties. And again, we want examples of that. We're looking at how the nominee communicates and collaborates with team members. And we also want to know any licenses held, coursework completed, and things of that nature. There is a fee for the Maintenance Professional Awards entry as well. It ranges from $195 to $270. And sort of the same answer here as it relates to sponsoring participation. We encourage anyone who is interested in doing this to coordinate with the property manager. This one is a little easier to submit or sponsor a nomination, if you will, because there's not so much information and preparation required. But I don't recommend that you do it without first consulting with that individual's manager. to get this information and to just make sure that you're all on the same page. And again, the same opportunities exist here to promote the program within your networks, sponsor participation in the awards ceremony, recommending to property managers that they submit their maintenance team members in the awards program. Any questions about maintenance awards specifically?
Nope, I think we're good.
All good? Awesome. Let's talk about the leasing awards. The leasing awards are similar to the maintenance professional awards in both timeline and entry rates and things of that nature. These awards are intended to recognize excellence among the leasing teams. These are administered by PMA's Marketing Council, which is chaired by Alexis Sonos, who is with Van Meter, and Karen Kassow, who's with Paradigm Management Company. The Leasing Professional Awards offer similar benefits in that they can ignite team spirit, elevate leasing standards, encourage competition and excellence, foster continued growth and improvement, and of course, there's that industry recognition component. So let's talk about leasing professional categories. This is the easiest, perhaps, of them all. We break our leasing professional entries into categories based on location. So typically, we consider Washington, D.C. entries, Maryland entries, and Virginia entries separate from each other. For each leasing professional award nomination, PMA partners with a third party to execute a secret shop. Nominees are evaluated as it relates to greeting, information gathering, professionalism, their tour, benefit selling, overcoming objections, and their follow-up. And their closing. I skipped that one. This is the same timeline for the Maintenance Professional Awards. These award winners remain a secret until we announce them at the award ceremony. And in terms of the recognition in this category, we have first, second, and third place. And then we also recognize rising stars. And those are individuals who score above a 90 on their secret shop, but who are not in first, second, or third place within their category. When it comes to the entry form, it's pretty straightforward. Again, this is all online. We'll ask for the property manager information, the nominee information, property information, including address and phone number, and then of course the entry fee. Leasing was quick. Leasing feels easy. Did I miss anything? Any questions?
No questions in the chat, but I don't think you missed anything either. I think that is one of the categories that you flow through a little easier.
Awesome. All right, so let's wrap it up with one of the most misunderstood award programs. That is our Marketing and Advertising Excellence Awards. So these awards recognize those who lead with creativity, innovation when it comes to marketing and communications. The MAE Awards provide an opportunity for education, networking, community building, and offer the recognition and foster collaboration. And associates are, A-R-E, you are eligible to participate in the MAE Awards. Oops. This program, I skipped a slide inadvertently. This program is also administered by our Marketing Council. And we talked a little bit about the benefits already: inspiring creativity, elevating marketing standards, inspiring better communications, igniting team spirit again. Okay, so let's talk about categories. That's kind of small. There's a lot of categories for the MAE Awards, and this isn't all of them, but these are the ones that I thought would be most interesting to you. So the ones that appear on the screen right now, this shows the category and what the judges are looking at in the category. So after we collect all the entry forms, we have a panel of, a secret panel of judges who are marketing experts who come together to evaluate the different entries. And there's another nuance to categories that I'm going to get to in just a minute, but just at a high level, these are the categories that you guys are probably all doing. They're communication and marketing efforts that you probably do for your company. They include public website, where we're looking at the overall design, content, and user experience. Social media campaign, we're looking for best overall interactivity and functionality in one or more social media channel. Video, we're looking at best video promotion featuring relevant and engaging content. advertisement, best writing, content, and design of a print or digital advertisement. Brochure, we're looking for the best writing, content, design, and overall presentation of a print or digital brochure. Marketing campaign, we're looking for the best campaign using at least 3 communication vehicles to promote a single portfolio of properties or a company. Promotional item, best content, design, and overall packaging and presentation of a promotional item. So that could include a trade show giveaway, if you will, or a client gift that you give out. Corporate communication or internal public relations, we're looking for the best writing, content, design, and overall packaging of an internal property or company communication. And then the fun one, other. So if you have any sort of marketing or communication campaign that doesn't fit neatly into one of these categories, you know my number, give me a call, submit an entry, tell me what you've done and why you think it's award worthy. So now that you know sort of the highest level of the categories, let's talk about how we break it down a little bit. So when we receive the entries, we, group them first by those categories that we just went over, and then we break it down based on company type. So we have property management companies competing against property management companies and associates competing against associates. Don't worry, you're not going to like beat out your client for something or like that. When it's applicable, we're considering the property type. And that goes back to what we talked about in the PACE Awards with the lease up, affordable, senior, market rate communities. Also commercial communities and hotels sometimes participate in these awards as well. And then last but not least, we're looking at whether the materials were developed in-house. So let's say Adrienne is developing a brochure to promote tri-state restoration and she's doing it herself. She's, put on her graphic designer hat and she's put that together and done it, pretty low budget brochure. That would be considered an in-house campaign. Let's say conversely, Adrienne has a budget. She has a lot of money. She can hire a marketing firm to come up with the great content and snazzy graphic design. That would be considered developed by an agency. So we want to make sure that it's equitable and that we're categorizing in a fair way so that like campaigns are competing with each other. Now, the entry form for the MAE awards is coming soon. It should be available this spring. The form requires some high-level information about the entry and its outcomes. We're looking for like specifics, like what was your budget? What were you trying to do? What did you accomplish? How was it successful? And then there's an entry fee for the MAE awards that ranges from $85 to $215, depending on the number of entries a single company submits, the date submitted, and member status. In the Marketing and Advertising Excellence Awards, there's winners, and then there's honorable mention. And that is MAE Awards. Who has questions about those?
I received a question,
Sure.
actually through email from someone who wasn't able to join, but thought they were going to join late. And they said their only question is, hold on, let me click to my email really quick. Their only question is about marketing awards. Can associate members participate in all of the awards and do we do the same process? And I think you've already answered that because they're not here. I'm putting it into the stratosphere and I'll make sure that they get that information.
Yep. And everybody knows the answer now, right? Yes, you may participate. And yes, the entry process is the same. You're just checking the box for associate member when you submit your entry.
Indeed. And Adrienne, your point is exactly right. There's a lot of people did not know that you could participate. So absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Candace in her previous job won an award for a little giveaway
squishy
item they
thing.
gave out. Yeah.
I love that thing.
All right, before I turn it back over to you guys, just wanted to go over one more thing, a big thing, the award ceremony. So I already told you to save the date. That's happening November 7th at MGM National Harbor Casino. We will be coming together for a celebratory luncheon. A tentative agenda appears on your screen right now. This is based on the agenda from last year, and I don't anticipate significant changes to this. We open registration. Oh, I have a typo. We open registration at 11:30 a.m., not 1:30 a.m. That would be insane. Nobody's coming at 1:30. And we have a networking hour, if you will, at the beginning. Those of you who were there last year, we've solved the problem of you networking like sardines. You'll have more space at our new venue to network during that hour before we open the ballroom for the awards presentation. We kick things off with welcoming remarks and corporate sponsor recognition. Then we do our President's Choice Awards. I didn't talk about President's Choice Awards because they're determined by the president. But we always welcome feedback. So say, for example, you see somebody who's knocking it out of the park on one of your committees or councils. If they don't quite fit in an EPIC award, I always welcome feedback about anybody you think we should be considering to recognize in some way, shape, or form. Then we serve lunch at 12:50. We come back together, do the Maintenance Professional Awards presentation, Leasing Professional Awards, MAE, and the EPIC Awards. And then at around 2:15, we'll be doing our Board of Directors installation. Actually, that might be a typo, so pretend I didn't say it. Because we changed things from last year. I didn't change it here. We did our board installation in January. And then we close the day with our PACE Awards presentation, and then plenty of time for the networking reception at the conclusion of the awards presentation. Your registration fee includes 2 complimentary drink tickets, as well as a plated entree, which is typically like a duet plate with some sort of meat and seafood or meat and chicken entree, if you will. It includes dessert, of course, and coffee. When it comes to registering for the award ceremony, we do assign seating for this event, and we do provide our associate members with the opportunity, as seating allows, to sit with property management professionals. It's much like putting together a puzzle. You know, let's say I have a group of 9 people from Gates Hudson, and I have Denise registered on her own. I could put her in with that group. So we do keep that in mind when we're developing the seating chart to try to encourage networking when you are attending the event. Well, I'm closing on a typo-ridden slide. That's terrible. Who's got questions? Let's pretend that didn't happen. I'm going to stop screen sharing.
Awesome. It's a lot of information, but I will make sure to size that the video for what we for the pertinent information, and of course, and put the accompanying once we correct the one slide and put the
Oh, I'm
slide.
correcting it right now.
Oh, see, look at that, already all over it. And we'll make sure we send all that out with the slides. I did put a link to our website that takes you to our awards programs page that has all of those awards programs listed out for you. Please, by all means, take a look at it. Again, if you have questions, reach out to me. Definitely reach out to Sarah. Matter of fact, if it's really, really like more than just like a quick, how do I register for this? You may want to go to her first. That way you can get an answer really fast. And I'll make sure I put her information in there, in that little packet of information that I'll send over to you. Of course, and I know we're got about 5 minutes, so if it's okay with Danny and Mika, I'm going to just kind of keep rolling through. Fantastic. I will, of course, compile everyone that was here on this call today and send that out so that you have each other's contact information. Of course, and that's assuming that your contact information is correct in your Member Compass portal. If it is not, run to your Member Compass portal and make sure that your contact information is correct, because that's what I'm sharing with everybody. And then the big, last but not least topic that is off topic of the award ceremony is the Associate Membership Council's upcoming event. And I'm going to click into the chat. There is a link. We have, and Elizabeth, we're going to